in or you in?
Okay, so here's the point blank. I'm here with Survivor of Pain here, one of the AWF originals. And yeah, me and him date all the way back to 1999 with this promotion with AWF. It's been a long, long road for both of us. And quite frankly, we've got our wears and tears, our bumps and bruises, our potholes, you name it, we got it. Okay? Now let's get the facts straight here. For the past month and a half, online, on Facebook, on the Harlem Arena page, which is where AWF is housed, we've had some wannabe punk who claims to be, you know, this great wrestler, who claims to have this entire lineage of wrestling in his family, coming on there talking trash about the AWF originals. Well, he don't like that. And I don't like that. And I know a lot of the AWF originals don't like that. That you're calling us has-beens, you're calling us phonies, you're calling us whatever you can come up with, because half the stuff isn't even creative you come up with, trust me. If it was creative, you would have caught my attention a whole lot more, but instead you just pissed me off to the point that I want to piss in your cornflakes.
Speaking of creativity, Chris, you know, Aidein Jessaih, ever since you came in the AWF, all I hear about your heritage in wrestling. All I hear about is your uncle in wrestling. And no disrespect to your uncle. I'm sure he was a fine wrestler. Got nothing to do against him. But let me tell you something, son. This is America. United States of America. Here, we judge you. In this country right here, we judge you by what you do. Not by who your father was, not by who your brother was, or your uncle was. What you do. And what have you done so good in wrestling? You see, ever since you came in here, you're like, well, no disrespect, guys, but I never started in a freaking backyard. I actually wrestled inside of a building. Let me tell you something, my friend. Wrestling goes back so far as the oldest sport in this business. The oldest sport, period, in this world is wrestling. And where I come from, there's some Jessaih. Have you ever climbed 12,000 feet on top of Mount Fuji, Japan, and wrestled someone called Gabriel Gonzaga and defeated him and made him tap out? No, you can't say that, you know. What is your legacy? What have you done? What have you accomplished? I've wrestled in full contact over 100 some odd matches. I've got 96 victories with only 8 defeats. You know, that's my legacy. I hear you talking smack about primetime Tim Sanders. You know what his legacy is? Count it, 20-something seconds, he's won a battle royal. Won a battle royal in 20-something seconds. Can you say he's done that? Has Jessaih ever done that? What has Jessaih done that is so great? It takes a bunch of bumps and get a little blade and try to get a cheap pop from everybody. You know what I'm saying? 12 years, I put my blood, sweat, and tears in wrestling. Not do it just to be popular, not do it to be somebody. I do it because I love it. Because I have it in here. I have it in the heart.
Oh, no, he did something. He ripped me off. He ripped me off in 2004. He decided to have AWA shows downtown in Augusta off 8th Street and Ellis.
Oh, we're about for AWF Metro.
AWF Metro was on 9th Street and Ellis by the Haven. That's where wrestling was brought up. That's where wrestling was born. And if it wasn't for half the people within AWF who went on to the indie scene, you wouldn't have anybody to wrestle in AWA. I'm going to put it like this. You put your world championship on a former AWF world champion, all right? You took somebody by the name of Ryan Rain and made him a champion, and the only thing he did was grab ass with you and play E-Fed football, if you want to put it that way, and have Phil and Bam Margera run a freaking promotion or something on paper. And point blank, you have a lot of people who are worthy of wrestling in your promotion. Then you have people who are a bunch of ass-kissing, bottom-feeding butt fucks. Here's the deal with AWA. The meaning of AWA, after seeing your post today about there's no show this Friday, AWA doesn't stand for Augusta Wrestling Alliance. It stands for Always Wondering About. Why? Because I'm always wondering about why you keep posting a show and it doesn't happen. It's almost as if you post shows to stay that, oh, I'm having a show, and then all of a sudden the show gets canceled. No, shows don't get canceled. You can't cancel a show unless you have like an emergency or something like that. Point blank, I think you're just posting to try to get your name out there in the community, Aidein Jessaih, and you're not able to provide what you're advertising, and then it flushes down the toilet. So you're using AWF as a means of boosting your own ego, boosting what you call your promotion, and then you want to take out the originals to feed that ego and to bring AWA to fruition. By using people who love the business, who don't want to be paid for the business, who come and do it because they are the business.
It must really hurt, don't it, Dale? It must really, really hurt. You talk about his bright lights, talk about all his big shows. He's wrestled inside of a building and everything. And the one thing that's always separated AWF from AWA to FCW, even WFJ, even RTWF, we never lost our love for the game, for the business, for the business, for the heart of wrestling. We never lost our passion for it. We never lost our love for it. The thing that really hurt you the most, AWF for 12 years has existed. We've had thousands of shows and thousands of matches and everything. And granted, yeah, we may never have the bright lights, but you know something? We hold more prestige than your promotion, any other promotion around our area. AWF has never lost its dream, never lost the love for the game, and we're still going there. 12 years strong, we're still going on.
ECW never had bright lights. ECW never had big stars, but ECW had one thing that everybody liked, and that was passion and love of the game and love of the business. AWF is in the same boat. Hey, we may not have the best stuff, and yeah, your ring may be out there, great deal. That's cool. We appreciate you helping us. But at the same time, you're kind of hindering it by talking trash about the originals. The originals is what made AWF to start with. We don't like to brag and boast about our achievements and our accomplishments, because if I really wanted to, I could brag and boast about being in WFJ, having the first match out of any of the originals in WFJ against the owner of WFJ, and then against the North American champion or United States champion, whatever he wants to call himself, Brandon Paradise, who sits there and talks trash. And the point being, I'll talk trash about indie workers because actually, I'm going to quote Kevin Nash, you have wrestlers and you have workers. Wrestlers are the ones who love the business, who are there for the business. The workers are there for money. And a lot of the guys that came into AWA are there for money. Yeah, wrestling's a business, so is football. But a lot of people do football for the passion of it. They don't care about the bright lights and the fame. You don't get paid that in high school. You don't get paid that in college half the time. But as a chance to live a dream. That's what AWF was. It was a dream that became a reality and has been going strong for almost 12 years now. So, you created AWA. You had your first show at Coyotes. Then you had a couple of shows downtown. You've been traveling around. You wrestled in RWA. You've wrestled in ZPW. You wrestled, I guess you did sound for FCW, or you made an appearance at FCW. You wrestled in SWF in Thompson, which is just about the same as AWF. They have the same dream, the same followings, and all the SWF guys look at AWF now in a different light because they realize we're not the bad guys. We love the business, we love the name of the game, and people in AWF do want to move up. They do want to make it bigger. But when they realize the politics, and you know there's politics, they kind of back off and realize we're preaching the truth. So here's my suggestion to you, Jessiah, or Jabroni. If you could take your hand off of Slinky's dick for 2.5 seconds and pull your thumb out of Ryan Reigns' ass, maybe, just maybe, you can accept this challenge I'm laying down to you right now. You want to take on the originals. You want to face the originals. You want to take us out one at a time, but yet we're all retired, supposedly. Yeah, Fury's in retirement. You pick an easy target because Fury has a bum leg, and you know about that injury. And he's so gullible, he'll hop at any chance to feed his own ego. That's Fury. Payne here runs the company. You really don't want to get a Marine on your ass. But there's one guy that you haven't faced. One guy who holds an even bigger lineage than you. That one guy has faced Brandon Parker, Devin Wright, Six, Live Organ, King of Hearts, Mike Margera, Fury, Survivor of Pain, Oz Knight, Cutter. The list goes on and on. Jeremy Cruz. That man, you're looking right at him. It's time you face the legend, the Phoenix, the one, the only, Chris Dickens. This is my challenge to you. If you're such a great wrestler, as you say you are, I've hung with the best in the CSRA. I've worked Brandon Parker. I could still hold Brandon Parker's jock if I need to, because I'm that damn good. I've wrestled Devin Wright because Devin Wright was the one who actually helped me develop a lot of my in-ring skills during season 3 of Flatline. Milford called me a hardcore enigma and bowed to me and said he wasn't worthy of half the shit I've done in the ring. Live Organ respects me. Fury and me, Survivor of Pain and me, go way back. And if you want to get technical on it, if it wasn't for me, there wouldn't be a Draven, or a Brandon Parker, or a Mike Margera, or Devlin Dynamic, or a Survivor of Pain, or a Fury, or even a Justin Chambers and James Houston. Because I was the man who was willing to do anything and everything, and those guys skyrocketed. I'm the Mick Foley of the CSRA. I'm the man who could sell a freaking empty can of Coke to a wino, if need be. You couldn't move my jock. You couldn't even hold a candle to what I've done. You can't even do a fucking leg drop. You claim it's because of something that happened in the past, and you know, if that's the truth, I'm sorry. But you know what? In the business of wrestling, if something happens in the ring, usually the person who it happens to is more than glad to have it happen, because that's the business, and they love the business, otherwise they wouldn't be there. So here's my point to you. You want to challenge the originals. You want to call us has-beens. You want to diss people online like you did on the post and said, look, all the AWF original has-beens on one post. Well, one of the AWF originals wasn't on that post. And I dare you to come at me. May 29th, 2011. I got your number. You come out there in your little wrestling gear, and I'll come out there in my street clothes. Let's call this one the indie scene versus the backyard scene. Which one can hold a candle and the crowd?
Dale, all you and all the haters out there can make all the jokes you want to about AWF and backyard wrestling. The one thing that's always going to be constant, the one thing that will never end, is AWF. The one thing that will never end is Chris Dickens. The one thing that will never end is Mask Fury. And then one thing I guarantee will never end with the Survivor of Pain. Come May 29th, you're going to fight Chris Dickens. It ain't going to just be a wrestling match, it will be a war. I promise you one thing. I'm going to promise you everything. Right now, I'm stepping up as this man's personal trainer. I'm gonna get this man in shape. This man will be ready to fight. He's coming to fight. He's coming to war. Old school Chris Dickens, the fighter to the end. Jessiah, you will die.
And I may just make a personal phone call and have a special guest referee and a special guest enforcer. So, be prepared. You wanted an original? You got the original. Hope you're ready. Because in this business, it's eat or be eaten. And your little scrawny ass is about to be eaten by this fat motherfucker. Peace.